Beloved beings of light, have you ever stopped to reflect on the transformative power that resides within each of us? The path of Kabbalah, this ancient mystical wisdom, is not only for those who seek to understand the world around them, but for all who wish to heal their soul and transform their life. True transformation begins within us when we decide to awaken our spiritual consciousness and connect with the divine energy that dwells in our being. Kabbalah, in its essence, teaches us that we are more than beings limited by our emotions and past experiences. It reminds us that emotional and spiritual healing comes through inner knowledge, through awakening the divinity that resides within us. Through its practices and teachings, we can release emotional blocks, overcome traumas, and achieve true spiritual harmony. On our channel, we always speak about emotional healing through spirituality and how divine energies can be accessed to bring about genuine transformation. Kabbalah offers the tools for this, guiding us to deep self-knowledge and spiritual expansion, fostering a healing journey that transcends the limitations of the ego. By delving into this mystical practice, we discover a path of continuous healing, where our soul can regenerate and our life can be completely transformed. As we explore more deeply the teachings of Kabbalah, we begin to realize that it is not just a distant spiritual philosophy or a set of rules to follow, but a living path of inner healing. Kabbalah teaches us that true transformation happens when we connect with the divine energy that permeates the universe and inhabits every human being. It shows us that, by awakening our spiritual consciousness, we can release repressed emotions, past traumas, and limiting beliefs that prevent us from living our life in fullness. At the heart of Kabbalah is the idea that we are divine beings, created in the image of a greater force that guides us on our journey. Emotional healing, according to Kabbalah, comes when we recognize our true nature and allow the divine light to manifest in our lives. It is not only about understanding the world around us, but about awakening to the divine that already exists within us. This profound and transformative knowledge can be accessed through daily practices such as meditation, visualizing divine energies, and contemplating the Sephirot, which represent the different aspects of the divine and the human soul. By integrating these practices into our lives, we begin to notice significant changes in our emotional energy and our spiritual health. The pains and limitations of the past begin to dissolve as we connect with the divine flow of healing that Kabbalah offers. True spiritual healing is not something that comes from outside, but is activated within us. It is through the constant practice of Kabbalah's wisdom that we can indeed heal our souls and live in harmony with the universe. By applying this esoteric knowledge in our daily lives, we start to transform our reality and achieve a state of inner balance. Now that we understand the transformative power of Kabbalah and how it can heal us spiritually and emotionally, the real test lies in how we apply this knowledge in our everyday life. It is not merely about performing esoteric practices or occasional meditations, but about living according to the divine wisdom that Kabbalah offers, every day, in every moment. True transformation comes when we manage to integrate these profound spiritual truths into all areas of our lives, into our choices, our relationships, and the way we deal with our internal and external challenges. Often, in daily routine, we are challenged by conflicting emotions, unresolved traumas, and even constant stress. Kabbalah teaches us that every life situation is an opportunity for spiritual expansion, and the way we respond to them defines our healing process. By integrating the teachings of the Sephirot and divine wisdom into our daily life, we begin to see that difficulties are not obstacles, but portals to a deeper level of self-knowledge and spiritual growth. For example, when we feel anger or fear, we can use the wisdom of Kabbalah to examine the spiritual roots of these emotions. Kabbalah teaches us that emotions are a manifestation of the energies circulating within us, and by transforming our perception of these energies, we can turn them into something divinely positive. Through meditating on the Sephirot, we can learn to detach from negative emotions and elevate our energy, harmonizing our interior and thus radiating this light to the world around us. Integrating the teachings of the Sephirot and the divine wisdom of Kabbalah into our everyday life is a profound process that involves not only intellectual study, but primarily spiritual practice and inner transformation. The Sephirot are representations of divine attributes and relate directly to aspects of our soul and psyche. Therefore, when we connect with them, we can transform our life experience in a deep and meaningful way. Furthermore, integrating Kabbalah into our daily life involves acting with divine intention in everything we do. It is not only about understanding spiritual practices, but about living them authentically. Every action, from the simple act of breathing consciously to the way we interact with the people around us, can become a way of expressing the divine wisdom that guides us. Kabbalah teaches us that spiritual transformation is not separate from daily life. On the contrary, it is found in the small everyday actions, in the decisions we make, in the energy we choose to share with the world. We have come to the end. Share your reflections in the comments, because true transformation begins in the collective. By sharing your journey of self-knowledge and healing, you inspire and strengthen others who are on the same quest. Our healing path is interconnected, and by walking together, we lift all beings toward the divine light. Share your reflections in the comments, because true transformation begins in the collective. By sharing your journey of self-knowledge and healing, you inspire and strengthen others who are on the same quest. Our healing path is interconnected, and by walking together, we lift all beings toward the divine light.